and welcome back to our discussion on polar and nonpolar bonds. I hope you had a bit of a brain break between the first video and this one, because right now we're going to dive into the differences of nonpolar and polar bonds and our second big question. Okay, and now we're ready for our next big question is, how do polar and nonpolar bonds compare? What are the differences? What are the similarities? And how do we know the differences? So in the nature of attraction, polar is going to be more electronegativity as has a greater attraction to bonding electrons. Nonpolar is going to have a similar attraction. That means on polar, you're going to get two poles. Polar bonds are often called dipole bonds because you have a slightly negative pole and a slightly positive pole, making two poles. Nonpolar bonds have no poles. The placement of the bonding electrons, well, as always, if it's more negative, electrons are more attracted to it. So it's going to go ahead and be around the greater electronegative element more of the time. So therefore, the element with the higher electronegativity is going to get a slightly negative pole, although the electron will spend some time around the other element or the other shared electron, versus in nonpolar bonds, there's absolutely equal sharing. They are both directional of sharing. They prefer specific orientation and shapes. So that's going to be important, and we will talk about that in a minute. And then the polarity of each bond is going to be very specific. For polar, the difference between the greater electronegativity of the atoms, the greater the strength of polarity, the greater the electronegativity of the atom, the greater negative charge you're going to have. So you can have more polar and less polar bonds, whereas there's absolutely no polarity in a nonpolar covalent bond. So they're absolutely shared equally. And that is the main differences between polar and nonpolar bonds.